And shortly after she lost her sight, around the age of 12 and 13, they became stronger and stronger and stronger. So when she lost her sight originally, she was just normally blind. And then after that, she started having what she described as experiences. And I'll get into that as a minute. Experiences, right? And she also started having, and by the time she hit 13, which we'll say, was puberty started or whatever, they got really powerful, right? At a very, very young age, right? And according to the accounts of her life after the storm, she started telling her parents about vivid, unusual experiences, not trances. And again, she's blind, not things that she was seeing, but she started describing them. It's kind of hard how she was describing it. I'm going to do my best. Not as dreams, she said. She wasn't dreaming. She never once went to sleep and had a dream of something. And she never once went into a trance and prophesied something that was written down. She said they're not dreams, but they're as impressions or messages about people and events that would just come upon her, right? More like she was getting like a very strong feeling, and the feeling that she would feel in her head, like some form of non-verbal communication, right? Where she would just talk about it. And she was accurate. In fact, she was so accurate in the local area and the surroundings that the word spread about what she could do. And people were actually, again, this was 1911, or no, this was probably 1920s, because she was in her 1922, because she was born in 1911. So 1925. They were just asking her about crops. Rain. Is it going to rain? When's a good time to, plant crops? When's it a good time to harvest? And she was dead on accurate. She nailed all this stuff. And all the local farmers, and again, very, rural town. And I got to tell you something too. I don't think this chick could read. I don't think she could read and write. I looked up as much information as I could about any type of formal education, right, that she had. I couldn't find any. And there was no school that she was sent to after she was blind to teach her how to do stuff. So after that, I know she didn't write anything down after the age of 13. But prior to that, I think this lady was full on illiterate, right? Couldn't read, couldn't write. And that makes the things that she's about to talk about insane. Like this, unbelievable, right? But her abilities became so defined during her teenage years between, 13 and 19. By her early adulthood, not only the local villages were coming to, to seek her out, the whole area, the whole region, miles and miles and miles away, people came up, right? And one of the things that she was also known for is that her reputation really expanded later on in her life, because during World War II, she was letting people know if their loved ones were dead or if they were alive, and helping locals locate missing soldiers and predict the outcomes of like battles that the soldiers were riding home to tell their parents that they were fighting about, right? And like I said, they came from miles and miles and miles away. She reminds me a lot of this guy named Edgar Cayce, and Edgar Casey, I think his name, or Edgar Cayce or whatever. Now I'm going to have to do a show on him as well. But it reminds me a lot of him in the sense where people would come to him and he would, tell them things as well, right?
Subscribe now and turn on notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.